When I break down what's on today's video, you're going to be left scratching your head going, huh? Is it any wonder I just want to go back to the 1980s? And by the way, that's a very key phrase I'm going to be using here again in this video. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's roll the opening titles. I always keep making that Freudian slip.
When we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I would tell you why I left porn.
Oh, you keep heaving those bosoms, Miss Sydney Sweeney, until I watch your next movie. Help me! Help me!
Jason King came here to motorboat fun bags and kick ass, and he's all out of titties.
Her voice may be almost as important to gamers as Lara's double pistols, curves, and skimpy shorts.
Kung Fu Hot Dog
is a Kung Fu renegade cop. Now he must defeat the most evil Kung Fu master in the world.
For a modern gaming audience.
Get ready for a new world of unspeakable adventures.
I said, Mummy, I like the way the lady runs.
Get ready for a new world of unspeakable adventures never before shown in a motion picture. Get ready for
Kung Fu Hot Dog.
No retreat, no surrender. If the supplier can't deliver.
So Grums on Twitter has said the following: Games Workshop, Warhammer, lies about custodies and retcons lore, gender flipping them in the new 10th edition codex for woke points and possibly to prep for larger changes ahead. AKA rumored female space marines. Now, quick little Google search will tell you why they might be doing that, because the Custodes is an elite cadre of genetically engineered transhuman warriors. I think that's your key title there, because yes, it's transhuman, but you could probably break that down and maybe splice it in with transgender. While that's not a specific terminology in that universe, I am betting my bottom dollar that the Games Workshop has taken that and they're translating it into something else. So it's kind of hilarious now that the army of fans they built around the world are now calling them out on their bullshit, which I think is really absolutely hilarious. And just delving into this a lot more further, yep, Grums, who actually by his own admission has said he knows nothing about the lore of Warhammer 40K, but you just have to do a few bits and pieces of reading here. Warhammer 40K is a grim, dark sci-fi tabletop game that is the #1 miniature gaming IP in the world. The Adeptus Custodes are the Emperor's inner guard, are much stronger, better in every way than Space Marines. And just clicking on this right here, you can clearly see that in the highlighted portion of this paragraph, these men never leave Earth and only rarely leave the Imperial Palace, an endless black hive of forbidden technology and subterranean passages. Are they talking about back passages? Delving deep within the bowels of the planet. It sounds like hell, or another day in another woke universe where this world is concerned. So it's very interesting that Henry Cavill is working on a brand new Warhammer series for Amazon. Henry's obviously producing that show as well. So I'm sure he's aware of what's going on at the moment with the current discourse about female custodies. Is he going to bring that into the show? Is he going to... I mean, he's got to please the fans, right? I mean, Henry's all about pleasing the fans. So is it going to go north or south when we get an announcement for that Amazon show, which I think will be next year? But of course now we go from one gaming IP to another, which is Fallout. Now last week there was a B-roll section that I omitted from my video because I wasn't going to talk about it, which was the Fallout TV show on Amazon. And I said at the time, not going to watch it because it could be filled with identity politics and that might put me off from watching it. Turns out that it isn't. Well, it's got some elements in there, but it's not in your face. Now, I haven't watched the show yet. I know it's 8 episodes and I'm going to sit down this week and watch them all. But according to Pride, Fallout is a wonderfully weird, funny, and bold post-apocalyptic tale. But is it queer? Oh, are you kidding me? So the focus is on Lucy, as played by Ella Parnell. Very interesting interview that I saw with her on the red carpet, because the interviewer clearly does not know that she hasn't really appeared in a multitude of video game adaptations. She's only appeared in one other from what I can tell, which is Arcane from League of Legends. But of course, Rachel Chateau, which is the most hilarious surname I've ever seen. War never changes, but the world can. But then people like Rachel start the war by saying, well, don't you have enough queer representation? Good grief. So Jonathan Nolan, Westworld, person of interest, well, they got that part right. Westworld, the first series was really good, and then it kind of dipped in quality in the second and third seasons. And showrunners Geneva Robertson Dewar, Captain Marvel, Tomb Raider, well, that's what you need to know right there. And Graham Wagner of Silicon Valley, which is a very funny show. It's set in the world of the beloved video game series 200 years after a nuclear war has ravaged America and presumably the world. Well, I would like to think it's kind of a widespread thing, which is why it's called Fallout. A lucky, well, relatively lucky few survived the war. Blah, blah, blah. But Jonathan Nolan was pretty funny, actually, what he says here. I think queerness embedded into the DNA of the franchise from the beginning, and hopefully the show, Nolan tells Pride. I think it's one of the things that I found so exciting about the games when I play them. Because yes, anybody who's played the Fallout games, even from someone who, as me, who's ever played them, but I've kind of touched base with 3 and 4, I know there's a lot of identity politics in there, but from, again, what the writing from Bethesda back then has shown, it can all be subtly done and it's not thrown in your face. Of course, those of you who have played the entire Fallout series, feel free to correct me in the comments below. We've endeavored to try and bring all of that feeling, all of that tone with us into the series. I think that's a very good response from Mr. Nolan, because it is just about bringing in, of course, if you don't know who Jonathan Nolan is, he's the other brother of Christopher Nolan. So Christopher Nolan is more old-fashioned, a bit more based, doesn't go with the whole identity politics nonsense, which is great, which is why Oppenheimer was lauded with so many awards at the recent Oscars. So yeah, I think Jonathan Nolan probably takes a leaf out of Chris's book when it comes to sharing ideas. And I hope with the second series, they don't bow down to that, and hopefully, you know, look, you messed up Westworld seasons 2 and 3. Don't do it with Fallout, from what I've heard. Now, I know there's a massive discourse with hardcore FO fans out there who absolutely hate the series from Amazon because they're real hardcore people, and I'm not going to mess with that. In fact, what I'm going to do is to watch Fallout like I'm watching it for the first time, and I'm going to watch it like a feature film and see what I think about it. But people who have actually not played the games, have watched the show, have genuinely enthused. It's a great time. So I'm going to listen to them, and then, yeah, I'm going to form my own opinion and give you a quick feedback after I've watched the episodes.
So let's have fun.
We can't escape this video without talking about Star Wars Outlaws. The discourse continues, which to me sounds like a better title for the game than what it currently is. It faces a massive backlash over absurd release pricing, protagonist's in-game model looking worse than the real-world actress. You know what? This is a topic I never stop talking about because it's just so funny. I think people are waking up and realizing, yeah, there is such a thing as uglification of beautiful women in Western video gaming. It's so funny that it's become the meme that just can't stop evolving. It's going to carry on. Trans Solo, as one of my lovely subscribers have pointed out, it's not just a female version of Han Solo. Encased in carbonite, by the way, this is Trans Solo. I mean, the thing I don't like about this look about the Kay Vez character, you know, it's not even positive Spanish representation. If you want to boast about having a queer Hispanic woman in the Star Wars universe without pushing that in our faces, You could have made it look beautiful. You could have been proud of that fact. If you want to see more evidence of complete shillery from IGN themselves, we'll have a look here. So,
Bob, what was sort of the main takeaway from the panel today?
So a lot of what they were talking about were the open world of the game. So 2 places they were talking about.
Oh, is it the world that's meant to be like GTA, but set in the Star Wars universe? Yeah, can't wait for that.
Tatooine, where a lot of the action takes place. Tatooine, we all know. They say you'll actually kind of get an idea of how big Tatooine is. You can basically travel on a speeder from the moisture fields all the way to the Mos Eisley Cantina. So
remember a few moments ago I mentioned the word speeder? Well, listen to this.
Can you tell us a little bit about the speeder? Because I feel like it looks like a swoop. Is it a swoop?
What's a swoop?
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah.
I'm
technically a speeder, don't worry.
Okay. I'm afraid that it isn't a swoop, it's a speeder. And
That's what I call an awkward moment, because this guy right here, he said, what is a swoop? It's a speeder. A quick search on Google will tell you a swoop is a bike in the Star Wars universe, a type of repulsor lift vehicle designed for speed. So I'm wondering if that guy was caught out actually and didn't know what a swoop actually was. Is it the biggest crime? No, it's not. But if you're crafting a Star Wars game and you're collaborating with Lucasfilm, surely Lucasfilm would have briefed these developers and told them, listen, in case you're asked, a swoop is also a repulsor lift vehicle. But they weren't told that, it seems. Of course, now we get this Fandom Wire article about Naveed Kavari, the narrative director for Star Wars Outlaws. I've got a very deep familial and personal attachment. Oh, right, of course you do. So this is quite funny, actually. I mean, for me, this second paragraph is the biggest insult ever. Kavari revealed how Star Wars connected to him personally, having been connected to that universe of Star Wars right from his childhood. He also went on to reveal his favorite generation of Star Wars films being a man from the 80s. Are you kidding me, Kavari? Because if you're a true man of the 80s like I am, you would have made your leading protagonist, K-Vez, really hot and sexy. Instead, we get somebody who walked off the set of the Cher film Mask and hasn't forgotten to put back on their face ever since. Oh, from thatparkplace.com, GameSpot editor Jessica Cogswell, because all well doesn't end well for Cogswell, attacks gamers as incel gamer dudes previously shared animus, I've used that word before, against white people. Here we go again. At the end of March, Cogswell wrote on X, man, I don't know. All these incel gamer dudes are expecting games to have hot characters and characters representative of them all at the same time. The fact she uses the word characters twice in the same sentence is awful grammar. And secondly, if you don't know what an incel is, I'm sure many of you already know that, but it's the general stereotype that it's a single white male who hates women because they can't get a relationship with one, and that's it. I would have gone on Jessica's Twitter and posted a reply to her. I would have said, Jessica, I'm a brown man who loves big titties and curvy women. Do I have a free pass? Sadly, I can't do that because her posts are now protected. Of course now, what is her biog line saying? She, her. Anybody with pronouns in a biogs, you've got to know they're a certified nutcase anyway, so why on earth would you even take them seriously at this point? If you're going to go out on a limb and post your thoughts to Twitter world, be careful what response backlash you might get back.
I don't hate Twitter. A lot of negativity on Twitter. A lot of douchebags on Twitter.
So on the same day, March the 29th, Jessica replies, oh, laugh my ass off at these replies. Get a life, weirdos. And then she says, when did we ever say we wanted representation? Let me see. Sweet Baby Inc., DEI, ESG, Larry Fink, Bridge, which is obviously the new term for ESG and DEI. Every other effing time your collective tweets is about how woke characters and women are in every role, which indeed they are. And you miss cis hetero white men. I hate that terminology, being allowed in things? Well, I do. Nathan Drake, one of my go-to white guys in the video game. He's a laugh, he's great. Nolan North brings him to life. But oh no, apparently now that's a problematic character for PlayStation and anybody else who wants to play as him. In March 2023, Cogswell declared she would stop using the term JRPG and that white people should not comment on the subject. Right, but Asian people can't. She wrote, I've used the term JRPG for years and honestly, Hannah is completely right and I'm going to stop. It is a category that doesn't need to exist, except when you're identifying a video game from Japan and it's a JRPG, like Persona, the series, you're going to have to refer to it as that because some people might not know what it actually is and what type of gameplay it involves. Games should be separated by content, not the race of the people creating them. You cannot make this shit up. I think this is one of those things we need to do away with. From a white chick who obviously thinks because of her privilege, it's okay for her to say it. If anybody else challenges her, oh no, we're all the cysts, bigots, and every other thing you hate in the world. Oh, God almighty, jeez. I give me strength, please. Just give me strength, ladies and gentlemen, please. This has just been an absolute smorgasbord of disaster today. Wait until you see the thumbnail I come up with for today's video. I think it'll bring a big, great, juicy smile to your face. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video today, and by the way, thank you very much for your response to my spine video from yesterday. I actually thought that wouldn't do well, but people did respond, and I've got to thank you very much. And Spine is an old-fashioned video game from the noughties, but it's got that fresh coat of paint with Unreal Engine 5. So I just can't. Oh, I just really hope that, I think Neki is going to be that, that developer that they don't go into the awful territory of, messaging. Just give us a badass female protagonist with a lovely booty wooty, and I'm all good to go. And of course, a bit of a naughty undercleavage as well in the garment, which I noticed when I was reviewing my video yesterday. And on that one, if you were me and if I were you, you should come back for the next video.